Hi guys, this is RIIF in St. Petersburg, the first international festival of improvisation, and we have a guest from Berlin. Yes, yes. In a few words, tell about yourself. Who will start?
I'm Andrew. I've been doing improv since 2008. I studied at the Magnet Theater, and now I do improv in Berlin, sometimes at Comedy Cafe Berlin, and then I also I host my own night at Z Bar in Mitte, and we do improv every Sunday night at 6 p.m. there. My favorite food is pizza.
Was that a thing we're saying?
We're saying our favorite food.
I'm Trevor. I'm also from the U.S. And I also did a little training in New York at the Upright Citizens Brigade. I did a couple levels there, and then I fell in love with improv in Berlin when I moved with Matilde, and we perform mostly at Comedy Cafe Berlin and do work with Hive Improv, and yeah. And my favorite food is my favorite food is a good steak.
I'm Matilde, and my background is mainly was in theater acting, and so I found improv through theater, which I also started doing in New York initially, and then we moved to Berlin together and started doing improv there, and then it kind of became our entire life. And so we perform, host shows, build teams, break teams up, start new ones. And it's been really great being here. Oh, my favorite food. It's really important. It's an impossible question. I mean, pizza's great, but I'm more for a perfect steak. A perfect steak's great. Yeah, I'm gonna go with steak.
So I know that this is your first time you're in St. Petersburg, yes? Just in a few words about your impression of the city, perhaps, of the people, something you may speak frankly. Yeah?
I think it's beautiful. Beautiful, big. The lighting is great. It seems like all of the light, I feel like Russians have a really good taste for how to light buildings and how to light things inside of buildings and everywhere else. It's amazing. And plus, I think Russians are super nice, and they get a bad reputation, honestly. I think compared to Germans, I think Russians are way nicer, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Since you asked which one was nicer.
Yes, I concur that I agree that Russians are very nice, which has been a great impression so far, which is a nice contrast to the cold of the weather, which is very cold, and we've been saying it's sort of a reminder of where Berlin will be in 2 weeks or so. So
honestly, you've been the only one saying that.
I just want to say that everyone's saying it, and
you're the only one who thinks.
I speak for the group when I say that everyone feels that this is what Berlin will be like.
It's just all you. Trevor.
That's exactly right. That's my opinion.
So St. Petersburg is really beautiful. And in parts it's reminded me of Brooklyn, and in parts it's reminded me of Rome, which is great because it has a bit of everything. You can go from a really empty street with, kind of around here, maybe a little with junkyards or something, and then walk down Nevsky Prospect, and it's the most amazing architecture and beautiful streets. I found it to be really fascinating to be in Russia for the first time. Really interesting and really cold. Really, I know it's stupid to talk about the weather, but it's really cold.
It could be much colder. Yes. What could you advise to the people who just start to improvise? Perhaps you could help the people who don't know how to perform. Yeah.
I think first of all, just to do it.
Yes.
Do it as much as you can, and I would say just to really focus on the stuff in between the words. Focus on how the person is saying what they're saying, and what you're feeling in the moment between the two people on stage, or whatever's going on on the stage and not worry so much about being funny or, the comedy will come from what's happening between the two people and in how they're doing what they're doing, I think.
Yeah, I think my advice would be, because I haven't been doing it for that long, but I fully prepared that it will take a long time to be really good. So I think just being patient and letting yourself get better slowly and not needing to be the best as soon as possible, and just having fun doing it for a very long time.
I think it's kind of like exercising a muscle. If you want to start doing it, you can't make any mistakes as long as you start. I think a lot of people they say to me, "Oh, what if I go on stage? I don't know what to say." And it's like training a muscle. So you have to do it over and over and over again, and you're gonna fail all the time. And people who have been doing it for 20 years fail. People will fail, and you will fail, and you have to be totally okay with that. But you can run a marathon one year and not be able to run it the next year, but you always know that you can run a marathon if you train for it.
The last main question: what is your favorite food?
Definitely pizza.
Guys, thanks for coming. It's a great pleasure to see you in St. Petersburg. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.